We got work to do.
Welcome to Highway to Hell, a supernatural podcast. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Christine.
And this week, we have a Mailbag Minisode. And actually, this... we have a live audience here to listen to your thoughts on Supernatural and our podcast. Obviously.
Huge crowd.
No, this has been... we've been trying to do this for a while because we did the last one and it was just so many thoughts that you guys had that we couldn't fit it all into that one. So we have quite a bit to go through this episode, but
Thanks
all
for that.
great. Yeah, thank you guys so much. And we have some new voices right into us, so I'm happy about that. Hi, nice to meet you all.
Nice to see you.
Mm-hmm. Do you or should I take this first one from Melissa?
I don't mind.
Okay.
I'll do it. Okay, so Melissa wrote to us and said, "Hey ladies, so I just found your podcast last week. I just finished Route 666, hashtag get it Dean, hashtag girl on top."
Hashtag girl on top, yes.
Love it.
Love it.
I have been wanting to email you since the first time I listened, but now with the devastating news of Supernatural ending, I am happy I waited until now to do so. I have been watching Supernatural since the first day it aired. I was 10 years old.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have grown up and matured with this show. This show has been a huge part of my life, and my obsession has never stopped, not even for a day. That's how I feel about Harry Potter. Like, it came out when I was 11, grew up with him, all that good stuff.
Yes.
She said, "I have said multiple times that I wanted my memory of Supernatural wiped so I can relive it all again."
That's how I feel about Harry Potter.
Yeah. All the shocks and surprises, ups and downs, laughter and tears, stories and scares. By listening to this podcast, I can finally do that. Oh, I can relive it through you. Well, Christine and Jen, watching it and experiencing it for the first time. I don't even know where to begin to thank you for giving me that. I'm having so much fun listening to your prophecies and following all the trackers. You have given me such a gift. I'm going to cry.
This is so sweet.
I'm really, I'm close to tears right now. Thank you, Kristen, for introducing Christine and Jen to Supernatural, which gave me this podcast. I really hope you stick with it. There's so many amazing stories to be told and many more characters to love, as I know Kristen already knows. Thanks again. Oh,
thank you, Melissa, for writing in. That is so sweet. And also, that was the point of this podcast. So I'm so glad that you are enjoying it and loving it.
Yeah, I feel like, because when we were coming up with the podcast, we're like, well, what is it going to be about? It has to have a shtick, basically. We could just talk about them episode by episode, or you could do that. You could have done it on your own. But having just that little bit of a twist, bringing people in who haven't seen it for the first time. I feel like this is the first time we've had a fan acknowledge that part of it and really appreciate that so much. It's just good to know that there's a purpose, for that. And it's really working the way that we wanted it to.
Yeah. And I do see Melissa's point that it's probably even more meaningful now that Supernatural is ending after what will be 15 seasons. And so here's a way for you guys to relive you guys watching Supernatural for the very first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much,
Melissa.
Anytime. Happy to do it.
I know. This next one comes from the Plaid Fox, who I think follows us on Twitter as well. I see you, girl. She says, "I'm so excited that you've started one of my all-time favorite seasons. Yay!
Yours too.
Season 4. I know.
What up?
Now that you know that Dean has the lowdown on his mom's deal with Yellow-Eyed, and all that suggests for Sam's current path. I would love to know your opinions on Sam and Dean's relationships with the divine and the profane. Ooh. Dean seems to have, despite what Castiel says, an angel on his shoulder, and Sam has Ruby, a demon on his shoulder. Do you think these separate influences are going to drive the brothers apart or bring them closer together? Do you have any predictions on how Sam is going to react to meeting Castiel eventually? Oh, shit! We fucking
Damn, we should have read this one last week.
I know. And any ideas of why Castiel brought Dean back specifically? All the easy questions, right? Winky face. Love listening to the podcast and look forward to your thoughts.
Oh, good questions.
So, like, did you, before we did have Sam meet Castiel, did you have an idea of how he might react?
You know, it's funny. I really hadn't thought about it that much. I knew that I don't know why that part didn't really click. Like, I wasn't thinking about, oh, what's going to happen when Sam and Castiel meet, because I guess I didn't know how long that would take. It came a lot sooner than I thought it would. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of a surprise. And we haven't seen Ruby in a while. So I like her questions about like the relationships with, you know, divinity and these demons. And yeah, it really is like opposite, I think, of what we would have thought, like what we would have picked for the boys. Like Dean is more profane. Like he's always been riding that line of like sin.
Yeah.
And, you know, if at the beginning of this show, someone would have said like, you know, what kind of like supernatural guides would you apply to each of them? I would have said, well, Dean would get a demon and Sam would get an angel. But they have the opposite.
I know. And that's one of the things that I love about this storyline is that it really like switched it up to us. But it's funny because like even though Dean, at least, you know, starting from season 1, is like the sinner. Like he's the one kind of engaging in, you know, alcohol and he does little drugs on the side.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And also all of the sex. Whereas Sam
all of it.
Yeah, has like more of a tempered relationship with Jess, right? It's more romantic, and then she dies, of course, and so he's kind of celibate for a bit because, you know, he's dealing with his grief. Yeah, I just at the same time, Dean, I love the complexity that they give Dean and Sam, especially in season 2, because Dean is the one struggling with his black and white idealism,
right?
You know,
right.
And whereas Sam is a lot more fluid in the way that he I guess categorizes things, like he doesn't. He sees that gray area in season 2, and he's like trying to teach Dean that it's not just black and white. And maybe that's like his college, you know,
his learning.
Yeah,
coming book in. Learning, yeah.
He took a sociology class, and he's you know, is trying to teach Dean a little bit. But I love it. I really do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And let's see. She said, do you think these influences are going to drive the brothers apart or bring them closer? I mean, I guess knowing what I do about how much they value each other, and literally, now we know, we'll die for each other. I don't see anything permanently driving them apart, you know? Like, I think whatever is like, you know, adversity or like difficult for them, it might be like a temporary thing, you know? It might bring some troubles, but I think it will only make them stronger and more bonded and bring them back together at some point.
Okay. That's a fair. I won't answer that because I already kind of know.
Okay. Yeah, I know you do. This is true.
But I value your thoughts on that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Plaid Fox. Amazing. Amazing questions.
Oh, but also she asked any ideas of why Castiel brought Dean back specifically?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Well, we've been through an episode or two, I suppose, since this was sent to us.
But I don't know that we've really delved into that question yet.
No, I can say that I have like taken note of like Castiel, like in this last episode, um, him basically saying more fully like we have a plan for you and you're important somehow. I don't know why that is, but I know that it is. So
Yeah.
we'll see. It's very interesting. I want to know.
And I think I've asked like before in like the regular episodes, like, have you thought about like why? Like, what is he exactly?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I do want to get a prophecy out of you before we find out
Okay.
what it is.
Okay. I'll try to come up with something as we go along.
So you can stew.
Yeah.
So thanks, Platfox, for that.
Yeah, thank you.
This next one is interesting because it's actually a video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the audio of this for you guys, listeners. It's titled "In the Beginning Rebuttal." Dun dun dun.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I really liked this last Supernatural episode, and you guys did not so much, so I thought I would chime in. I get why you maybe wouldn't, because it doesn't have a real clear like beginning, middle, and end. It's almost a to be continued, right? Because the next episode starts like immediately. Dean rushes out of the motel room at the end of this one, and that's where the next one starts. So it's not like one self-contained story so much, but it does pay off a lot of stuff from past seasons and set up a lot of stuff that we are going to be doing this season. I like that it answers a bunch of questions, that have been hanging around for years sometimes. Like, and I don't think you mentioned it, but the mother says, "I'm sorry" to Sam in that episode in the first season. And not to Dean, specifically to Sam. She's sorry, but it never says what she's sorry about or why, what. She just leaves it there. And 3 years later, we get this episode. What is she sorry for? She's sorry that she made this deal in a moment of weakness. That allows Sam to be cursed when he's a 6-month-old and sets all of this stuff in motion. If she'd been able to resist, then they'd be spared all this pain. Well, they would exist though. Anyway, and the other thing is when Mary rushes in to the nursery, we get to see in the flashback in the second season that she recognizes Azazel. She sees him and says, "You." And then they leave it and they never come back to why would their mom know who Yellow Eyes was? And that's maybe the only clue we get coming up to this, that Mary's not a naive civilian, that she recognizes Yellow Eyes, that she knows who he is. And I just love the little tidbits and the long ball that these writers are playing. And it answers some other questions, well, how does he choose which infants to do this ritual with, and why do some mothers die and not other mothers? And he says, as long as you don't interrupt me, everything will be fine. So it's just the mothers who came into the nursery that die in the house fire, And why is it only mothers? And I think the answer to that, you see that it isn't only mothers. He makes the deal with the young man on the farm. It's fathers too. But I think just culturally, especially probably in the 80s, the parent who's likeliest to get up in the middle of the night to go tend to the baby is the mom. And that's why it's some of the mothers are the flag for an infant that's a special child, right? I just love all that stuff. That's a payoff for all these things that they've been seeds that they've been planting along the way. And just sort of the realization that just because we killed Azazel does not mean that all of this stuff that he's set in motion is not going to still have to be dealt with, because there's one special child left, right? And it's our Sam. And John Winchester's warning to watch out for Sammy still holds. So not just to take care of Sammy, but to make sure that he doesn't turn dark side. And that if he does, it would be better for Dean to kill his brother than to let Sam be a villain. That's pretty scary. So the question for the audience kind of becomes, is what Sam's doing evil? One, is it as bad as all that? And two, is he so far down this path that we can't redeem him somehow. And it's just good fun time travel shenanigans, right? And is time fluid or is time set? Like you can change the timeline or you can't. You asked, does that mean that Yellow Eyes recognizes Dean like down the line? Does he know when he meets Dean that Dean's going to kill him? And I say, yeah, it probably does. So why didn't Yellow Eyes try to get rid of Dean somehow? And I think maybe Azazel is far enough up the supernatural food chain that he understands that what's going to be is what's going to be. You can't alter timelines like that. And that's just good stuff, right? Because it's almost the theme for, if not just this season, maybe for all of seasons 1 through 5 and the Kripke years. It's like fate and destiny, and can you fight it? Can you fight destiny, or are you going to fight for free will? And that's all the good, juicy, chewy stuff that I love in stories. So I get why maybe this particular episode doesn't like warm your hearts. Castiel's being needlessly cryptic. Why doesn't he just say that what he wants is for Dean to stop what Sam's doing in the present and not all of this, 1970s shenanigans stuff? I guess maybe Castiel just, hasn't had conversations with a human being in a few thousand years and maybe doesn't remember how it works. That's just my headcanon. But I think if you notice, you can see the hint that he isn't trying to get Dean to stop what's going down with Yellow Eyes and his mom in the 70s because of the conversation in the car, right? Where Castiel even says, if you succeed in stopping this, then your family never becomes hunters and you never save all those people and all those people die. It's like he's trying to talk him out of it. So I think that's your hint that all of Dean's running around frantic in the past is not Castiel's plan. He just needs to show Dean some context for what's going on. And, the audience by extension. It's a way to get exposition out there, because that's not what they're supposed to do with storytellers. They're supposed to show, not tell. And so this was showing and not telling, right? Anyway, I like it. You guys don't have to, but I do. And I enjoy your podcast very much. So I look forward to hearing the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really great. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for that rebuttal. You're absolutely correct. I took notes while you were talking because I didn't want to forget all the awesome stuff.
Yeah.
That she just said. Yeah, she's absolutely right. Like, even though I think we didn't like the episode because it was kind of like, yeah, Castiel could have said all of that, but Lindsay had a good point. Like, you need a show, not tell, basically, in storytelling.
Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean, like, thinking back on it, I did like the episode. I think I was just frustrated by it. But there was a lot in there that was fun to see. We got a lot of really good information, and I'm sure you're going to respond to this too, but I'm so glad she pointed out the things that we were puzzled about earlier. Like, we mentioned those things that she pointed out whenever they happened, like with their mom and things like that. I brought it up like, whoa, what does that mean? And we didn't come back around and link it to what we saw here, and we get our answers.
Yeah, we get all of our answers kind of nicely wrapped up. That we still had after season 2. I think we were fucking pissed after season 2. Like, what the hell? Like, that's
what just happened?
Like,
yeah,
exactly. But yeah, this episode did wrap it up. Like, the I'm sorry to Sam that we saw in season 1 in the episode Home. That's true. Like, Mary just because Mary's like ghostly figure just appears when Sam is up against the wall, and she comes at him and says, "I'm sorry." And we were like, what does that mean? And we didn't.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. That was so long ago.
And I forgot about the part where we had the flashback where she went into the nursery and said, "You." And we were like, what?
How do you know? Him? Yeah, this is a Petunia moment right here. Like, what does she know about this supernatural realm?
They're the prisoners who guard the wizard prison Azkaban. What?
What? How do you know that?
Wait a second.
But also, great point, Lindsay, in that it is only the mothers who come into the nursery who are interrupting this spell or whatever ritual, who are dying. So that's why we have some who just
That was good.
who didn't interrupt. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Wow. Putting the pieces together for us because we couldn't.
Help.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Just thank you so much. That actually really helped with everything.
Yeah, great response. Really appreciate it. Really good thoughts. And agree. Totally agree. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, this next one looks like it's from our pal Stacy.
Yeah.
And it's really long. Do you maybe want to do half of this, or I'll do the first half and you do the second half?
Okay. I do like everything that she has here, so I did want to go through all of it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll start out. We'll see how I feel about halfway through.
All right.
Okay, so Stacy says, okay, I'm going to let my geek flag fly high here. So buckle up. Okay, strap it in. So, according to Jensen, Jared was immediately taken with Genevieve the moment she stepped on the supernatural stage to play Ruby. Oh,
that's so sweet. I love it so much. Oh my God.
Jensen says that Jared was literally a moony-eyed puppy who would sit on the floor and just gaze at her with a goofy look on his face on a regular basis. I love that so much. Oh my God.
I love it too. I could totally see Jared being like, love struck.
Hi. And believe it or not, at first Genevieve didn't want their relationship to be public. So poor lovesick Jared had to pretend for a while that they weren't dating. Really? Can you imagine not wanting to scream this to the heavens? Who wouldn't want to claim dating Jared, season 4 Jared? LOL.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Agree.
Guess what I did last night?
He's so hot.
Okay.
Per the creator, Eric Kripke, he named Castiel after Cassiel, the angel of Thursday, which was appropriate since at the time, Supernatural had only been on Thursday nights. That's cool.
That's awesome.
Which is also the reason why when you watch the show with captions on, they shorten his name to Cass with 2 S's and not Cass with 1 S. This has been a subject that fans argue about. 1 S versus 2 S's, LOL. A bit of random trivia, Misha Collins was told he was auditioning for a part as a demon, and that is why he chose to lower his voice and use a gravelly tone. Misha now regrets that decision, as he has had to maintain Castiel's lower register for 10 more seasons so far. Lol. And this has been a source of hilarity between Jared, Jensen, and Misha ever since. That's really funny. That's hard to keep up, man.
I know. And we've kind of talked about this before in relation to Jensen, because he kind of made this decision also to like lower his voice and make this Batman type of, voice for Dean.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot his name. Oh my God.
For what's his face?
Yeah. And he kind of regrets the decision also, because it must also like hurt his throat, both of theirs.
Yeah, you actually need to take care of your vocal cords and your throat and everything to keep up with that. That's tough.
Yeah.
She says, you guys mentioned Jason Mann as the guy singing the song in the Impala from Sam's iPod. Jason is indeed a longtime friend of Jensen, called it, and has produced music for Supernatural for many, many years. He attends the conventions with the Supernatural cast and does his own panels. He has produced a multitude of albums with the Supernatural cast. Check out the albums Recovering with Friends, Covers with Friends, and Christmas with Friends. Okay. Down for Christmas with Friends.
Yeah.
And if you have not seen/heard it, you absolutely must Google Jensen Ackles and Jason Mann singing Crazy Love. Right now. Do it now. LOL.
I need to look that up.
Yeah, I'm going to do that immediately after we stop recording. Recently, he produced Brianna Buckmaster's Sheriff Donna in later seasons' newest album, quote, Begin. He has been an institution within the fandom. They even did a shout out to him in a later episode in season 13, where they put his name on a diner. The sign was supposed to say Manny's, but the Y's light was out, so the sign said Man's.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Side note, I've met him and he is just a real sweetheart, and I will be seeing him again this April at the Supernatural Chicago convention. Yay!
Yay! That's so funny. After I read this, I did, because the Supernatural conventions are happening around this time, and the Dallas one is happening in June, and I was like,
oh man,
wait, I know, I was kind of weighing like, should we kind of like go? I don't know, but
I'm down if you are.
I'm kind of down. I'm kind of down, but kind of nervous.
It would be
nervous.
Right? I don't know.
Just because like I would really want to get like a photo shoot with one of the two, but also I would melt and I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like I would be like, I don't know my name. What the hell?
And I'll be like, this is Kristen. Don't worry about
it. My composure would, I know. Can you talk for me, Christine? Let's just say I'm mute.
Okay.
But I did see that Jason Mann is going to be there. He is one of the many events there. He's going to be performing and doing something else. Oh, he's going to be hosting a karaoke night or something like that.
Oh my God.
Actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can we go and do karaoke with Jason Manns?
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
I know.
Okay, I'm down.
And so yeah, that's really awesome that he is such a big part of the Supernatural fandom.
Yeah, that's great.
And I said that he looked, his music sounds like it would wear a turtleneck.
Sorry, buddy. That's not an insult.
Oh, sorry. I just have a specific taste in music.
You do, though. You're rough.
Yeah, I am rough with other forms of music.
That's too funny.
So
I don't mind continuing it.
Okay, great.
I was going to say, I'm not out of breath yet.
Okay, good.
So she says, how kick-ass was Pamela? I simply love how unapologetic she is about ogling these two gorgeous men in front of her. Yeah, she doesn't give a fuck. I mean, she not only propositions both of them together, but also grabs Dean under the table and then laughs about it. This woman is my hero. She's cool, quirky, open, fun, and beautiful. I was honestly so upset she was blinded and was so worried she was going to be killed off. Spoiler, thank God we will see her again. I did know that. I found that out somewhere. So Don't worry about it. You're not spoiling that for me. I think I maybe saw her like in a screenshot or something from a future episode and I was like, oh, scroll past.
Yeah, I think there was like something on the Twitter recently.
Okay, so. Yeah. So no worries. She says, to answer your question, angels have not been a known presence on Earth at this time for millennia, and demons haven't been aware of anything about them in all that time. They only know that they are supposedly extremely powerful and to be afraid of them. Castiel's entrance was intense and is thought of as one of the most powerful introductions to a character in supernatural history. Agree. So far.
Agreed. It's really awesome. Yeah.
However, what I am most impressed with was Castiel's immediate insight into Dean's lack of self-worth. Something Dean has always struggled with and has never been explored until now. This is a phenomenal opening to this season. It opens the doors to so many possibilities. God, angels, demons, Sam's powers, Dean's fated role, and so much more. Excited to experience this crazy season with you guys. Yay! Same.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why I love season 4 so much, is because like the last 3 seasons were just kind of handling their role in the supernatural universe very, very carefully, and it was kind of like slowly. So like it's just talking about Sam's powers or just talking about, Dean dealing with the Crossroads demon, but it's like pulling everything together that we've learned and then adding some more.
Yeah.
Also. So it's juggling a lot of stuff, and so far it's doing really well doing that.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Thanks for all those thoughts. It's really awesome. Oh, and I love Pamela. I didn't respond to that, but yeah, she's a badass, and I would totally be her. I was really upset that she was blinded too, because we got this awesome introduction to her, and I was all about it, and was like, oh man, can we please like get some kind of illusion to the three of them like getting it on? But
let's read some fanfic.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
But then she lost her eyes, and I was like, this is so brutal and She did not deserve that. Yeah, it was fucked up.
No, she didn't.
I'm sure she's still going to be awesome, even though she can't see. It's fine.
And Stacy, you sent us another email right after that. I think this was right after Are You There, God? It's me, Dean Winchester. And you say, with regards to your question about why the little girls were holding Bobby hostage instead of just killing him outright, I believe I have the answer.
Oh, do tell.
The little girls monologue that Bobby walked right past them and was right there so close when the monster that took them ate them all up.
Oh.
I think holding him hostage while others were actively looking for him, Sam actually walked right past him was supposed to be a just desserts kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So interesting. They wanted him to feel like they felt when someone was so close but never found them.
Oh, that's awful.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
It was a decent episode, but there are so many great ones to come. My favorite parts were learning about Bobby's panic room and the new information dump we got about Lilith and the 66 seals.
That panic room was the shit.
It was. I think those were my favorite parts about it also.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, great insight, Stacy. I didn't even think of that.
Mm-hmm.
It is a punishment then, right
totally.
there.
Totally. Just desserts, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
Can you read Paul's?
Sure.
Thanks.
So, Paul, you've been like blowing up our feed, but in such a good way. I love all of your insights. He's also the one that told us how to properly pronounce.
Samhain.
Samhain.
Not
Thank
Sam
you so
Hain.
much.
Yes.
Exactly. He says, "Hi, I'm a fantasy author from Ireland, and I've been binge listening to your podcast for about a week now."
Yay, I love that.
Cool.
Can we come visit you?
Yeah, please. That would be amazing.
Yes.
And we have to read your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm up to season 3, episode 9, Malleus Maleficarum, and I'm in it for the long haul. Yeah.
Yay.
Cool. Supernatural is one of my wife and I's favorite shows.
So cool.
I don't know if this has been brought up yet, but the boys aren't wasting bullets from the Colt. So yeah, we were like, what the fuck, guys? Why are you wasting bullets from the Colt? What the hell's wrong with you after you finally got it back? So he says, when Ruby helped Bobby get it working again, she showed him how to make more bullets for it so they can make new ones whenever they need to.
Oh.
It's not explicit from season 3, but in a later season, it's clarified. No spoilers. Yes. Thank you. No,
I feel so much better about that now.
Yeah, we were like, okay, come on, guys. Calm down with your use of that.
Yeah. We all know that there are finite bullets, number of bullets.
Yeah. There's only 12 or something.
We're keeping track.
Yeah. So then it says, you'll also find the show isn't consistent with how witches work. Later appearance of witches don't seem to involve praying to demons or selling your soul.
Huh. That's interesting.
That's unfortunate to hear.
Yeah, because those aren't difficult rules to abide by. You'd think that they would still have that, be a thing later.
Yeah, and I was really excited about that mythology that we learned in Malleus Maleficarum. I thought it was really cool.
It is really cool.
For sure.
I like everything that we've learned about witches.
I know. Thank you, Paul,
Thank
for
you,
that.
Paul. Okay, but really though, if you know of any good places to stay around where you are, got any good recs, Ireland is on my bucket list.
Oh yeah, mine too. I'm gonna do a whole thing.
Yeah.
On that point.
Yeah.
This is a really short one from Stacy. She just wanted to let us know that as she was listening to us giggle over Dean and Lederhosen in the monster movie episode, she immediately remembered that she read somewhere that the Lederhosen idea was actually Jensen's.
I love that. What a goofball.
I love that too. And I think somebody tweeted at us as well that said Jensen basically was just put me in some Lederhosen, it'll be funny.
I'm surprised he wasn't hey, I got a costume at home. Can I just wear my Lederhosen and come on set?
I know, that's not actually it was his outfit, and then they just like left him in it for the
that would
episode.
be me. I'd be like, I have my dirndl at home. I could just wear mine.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah.
So okay.
So
thank
funny.
you, Stacey, for that.
Yeah. That is so funny. I love him. And it reminds me of like when we first started talking about this show and how in the show, you know, Dean plays a straight guy and he's real serious. And I mean, it's the other way around, but like in real life, like it's the opposite. Like Dean is more, or Jensen's more serious and Jared is more goofy. But this is such a goofy thing. Like you would think that, I don't know, like he wouldn't have come up with it, but I guess he was really getting into it. And he's like, okay, guys, dress me up.
Yeah, I love it.
So funny.
Do you want to read this next one or should I?
I'll read it. So this one is from Genevieve. And she says, first, I just want to say that I love the podcast and I listen to it every Monday. Yay, thank you.
Yay.
And also apologies for when we have to take breaks.
I know.
If you listen to it every Monday, that's not fun. But thanks for sticking with us. I love hearing your takes on all the episodes, and it's so fun to hear a newbie's take on them. I only started watching Supernatural last summer and binged the whole thing in about 6 months. Oh, sometimes I have said before, I wish I could just binge it, and I can't.
I know.
But that's okay. I'll get through it. So I truly admire your restraint and your efforts to remain spoiler-free. And Kristen, I can't believe you've decided to wait to finish season 14 and then 15. When you announced that, I literally said, damn girl, out loud.
It is tough. And now, like, I'm definitely, I see things pop up all the time on Twitter and I'm just like, no, I can't see it.
This was such a good episode of the podcast, and I'm so glad you talked about how horrible their solution was to get rid of Luther. Okay, so this was about
yellow fever.
Thank you. Because I remember watching this the first time and being absolutely horrified. I completely agree that it's so totally inconsistent with the humor of the episode to have such an awful and tragic story driving the rest of the narrative. I was so upset that Luther had to relive a death that was already horrible and traumatic again as a ghost. What? I'm still mad about it. Yay, thank you for sharing my pain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's terrible, obviously, but, misery loves company. She says, I think it's unfortunate because I do actually like the episode otherwise. Dean is adorable and you get that awesome Lilith moment, but I just can't get over that Luther gets dealt such an awful raw deal, both in life and death. I also agree that it doesn't jive with what we know of the boys, that they wouldn't talk about how awful it all really was. As for the title of the episode, I always just thought it was a play on yellow, also meaning cowardly. God damn it, so she got it too. We're so stupid.
I know. We're so dumb.
I don't know why. I swear we went to college.
I think it's just that we're
not
watching
that,
these
not going to college
so,
makes you not dumb,
like,
but you know what I mean.
In depth, so we're like, okay, like this,
maybe it was too obvious.
Yeah, it was just too obvious for us.
Way to play it off, Kristen. We'll go with that. One more thing I wanted to comment on because I know it's played for laughs, but it also kind of breaks my heart when Dean is talking about how annoying it must be for Sam to be stuck with him all the time. Yeah. He comes up with all these reasons someone wouldn't want to hang around him, but the only negative thing he can come up with for Sam is that he's gassy.
So like Sam's not that bad, it's just that
he's just got toots. And I think this is a genuine fear that he has, and Sam will get sick of him and leave. My poor boy thinks so little of himself and has such a heap of abandonment issues that I can't help being kind of sad for him in this moment. I totally feel you on that. The real thing Dean Winchester needs in life, and his life, is some self-worth. Anyway, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the rest of season 4. It's such a good one. I'm especially excited for you to get to heaven and hell and on the head of a pin. You'll probably hear from me again this season. Keep up the great work. I hope we do hear from you again. That was great thoughts. I'm glad that
I know, those were really great thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm so glad also that Genevieve agrees with us. And so far, like I've mentioned, a lot of people do, about yellow fever. And so that's so validating.
It really is. And it tells me that I was able to convey the way that I feel in the right way, because I really didn't want to offend anyone or, make anyone think that I just hated everything about it, because that wasn't the case. So I just am glad that I was able to make clear like the parts that I had issues with, and that I'm getting some like backing on that, because the rest of it, as we talked about, was amazing. We got some really funny moments, and Jensen's a genius comedically.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for that. I feel supported.
Yeah, thanks, Genevieve. Okay, here's the last one from Stacy again.
Woo, girl. Blowing us up.
First off, she says, "You guys crack me up." I hope so, Stacy. I hope so.
Don't tell me that, because I will turn into a huge ham. It will not stop.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for.
I'll break out my Lederhosen. So first off, she tells us what we didn't know before, but everyone's like yelling at us about it. The reference to yellow fever has to do with the old terminology that has been called yellow, refers to someone who is a coward or who is afraid. What are you, yellow? Or he had a yellow streak down his back. Thereby, since Dean is literally being scared to death, yellow fever was a really appropriate title. Thanks, Stacy. We're so dumb.
Rub it in. It's fine.
Yeah. Then she says, this episode is definitely a fan favorite, and I do have a soft spot for some of these scenes. Specifically, the scene where Dean is venting to Sam about how insane they are for being hunters really cracks me up.
It's so funny that they both mentioned the same scene. It was because he just had like an outburst, so it really stood out.
Yeah. And then that's when he takes off all of a sudden and is chased by a Yorkie. It's just so which is such a random outburst.
Yeah, it's absurd.
And the fact that Jared, and then parentheses Sam, is actually lactose intolerant and who is known as being incredibly terribly gassy on set just cracks me up even more.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I remember in one of the gag reels, he farted in the car and Dean was like, oh, God.
Yeah. I think we've seen it like twice now that he's in those gag reels. And it does say, Stacey goes on and says, so many gag reels show Jensen dying from the toxic gas in the car from Jared and Jared laughing his ass off at him.
I love that.
She says, if you haven't seen the gag reels for each season, you really got to make time to do it. We do, and we actually post our reactions to them on the Patreon, so you can see those there.
Yeah, we just watched the season 3 one recently.
She says, I also adore the idea that Jim Beaver is actually really fluent in Japanese. It's pretty fucking awesome.
I love that too. What a badass. Japanese is not easy.
No.
Difficult language.
From what I've heard.
Yep.
Have a great week, ladies.
You too, ma'am.
Stacey. Yeah.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. And I also wanted to mention we get comments from Mark on Facebook, and they're just totally sweet and really supportive, and we really appreciate it. So I just wanted to mention this comment real quick on one of our most recent posts. He said, it was about our new t-shirt design, by the way. So he said, sweet, totally digging the design. Love seeing your, quote, little podcast that could start to blow up. You two ladies do an amazing job and totally keep me entertained with your funny comments and interesting takes. Keep up the great work with some fire emojis.
Oh, he's so sweet.
I know.
I love
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Your comments like make my day all the time.
Seriously, we're like having a rough day at work and we see that and we're like, oh.
Everything's gonna be fine. For real.
Seriously.
Oh my God.
So thanks, y'all. I hope we're, returning enough of the love because it's really appreciated, and we're pretty proud of, where we're going with all of this too. It's been great. So
it's been a learning experience for sure. And thank you guys for sending us all the amazing feedback and questions and telling us what yellow fever really means. And
we need that. Keep us in check.
We do. you guys can send more of those emails to highwaytohellpodcast@gmail.com. You just might get yours read on the next Mailbag Minisode. So do
and if
that.
you don't for any reason, just let us know, because we just pull these and talk about them.
Yeah, we might have missed it.
But if you,
For
but I'm
sure.
saying too, like, if you don't want it read,
let us
know.
Yes. Right. Yes, please do. And then you guys can leave us voicemails at 908-516-HELL, 908-516-4355, or you can send us an MP3 to our Gmail or send us a video like Lindsay did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was good to see your face and like kind of, it felt like talking to you for a second. That was cool.
It did. And then we're also going to try our best to pull any sort of like major tweets or DMs and stuff like that. That's a little bit hard to keep track of sometimes. So I'm sorry if we missed some of those. But yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you. Always appreciated. Keep them coming.
And I guess until next time, we'll see you on the highway to hell. Bye.
Bye.
I can feel a heartbeat from 1,000 miles, and the heavens open every time she smiles. I'm running to her, that's where I belong. I'm running to her like a river song. She gave me love, 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 breeze and love. She gave me love, 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 praise and love. She got a fine sense of humor when I'm feeling down, and I'm running to her when the sun goes down. She takes away my troubles, she takes away my grief, she takes away my heartache, and I go right to sleep. Give me love, 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 praise and love. She gave me love, 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 praise and love. Yes, I need her in the daytime, and yes, I need her in the night. Yes, I want to throw my arms around her, kiss her, hug her, and a kiss another time. When I'm returning from a long day, you give me some sweet loving, it brightens up my day. It makes me righteous, and yes, it makes me whole. It makes me mellow right down to my soul.